At 3 a.m., a past due notice arrives in a digital inbox. The glare of the smartphone is the only light in the room, as a sensation of panic sets in. The math for the month is no longer working. Across town, at the same hour, a different person is resting. They remain undisturbed. While they sleep, a quiet ecosystem is active. Dividends deposit and interest compounds. This automated system generates revenue in the background, independent of its owner's physical state. The gap between these two bedrooms is the result of two different systems of financial physics. Most financial lives rely on a single equation, trading time directly for a paycheck. If the labor stops, the revenue stream disappears instantly. Engineers call this a single point of failure. When survival depends on one specific paycheck, the entire structure is vulnerable to any disruption. This reliance turns money into a predator. It dictates where you live and how you spend your waking hours, maintaining a constant daily baseline of stress. Financial anxiety is the mathematical result of locking your physical survival to your physical time. Unexpected costs, medical emergencies, major repairs, or sudden job losses strike without warning. In a system built on a single paycheck, a $4,000 expense is a catastrophe. It forces a cycle of high-interest debt or missed essential payments. Wealthy systems utilize an emergency fund as a structural shield. This pool of capital is engineered to absorb financial trauma before it can impact the core of your daily life. When an emergency occurs, the fund is deployed. No debt is incurred. A disaster becomes a brief administrative task rather than an existential threat. This buffer neutralizes the daily panic of what-ifs, providing a mechanical solution to random events. Biological limits restrict human earning potential to a few productive hours per day. Passive assets allow an individual to decouple earnings from labor. This structure uses capital to create multiple independent streams of revenue. These streams consist of index funds, real estate, and digital products. Each one functions as a 24/7 worker in an invisible army. This army generates revenue regardless of the owner's activity. It continues to operate while you eat, travel, or sleep. While wages follow a flat, linear path, these asset streams follow an exponential curve. The momentum builds on itself over time. Serenity is achieved when the revenue from this invisible army exceeds your total living expenses. Living with a single point of failure forces the brain to focus exclusively on immediate, short-term survival. This is the scarcity mindset. This state focuses the vision on the immediate need for the next dollar, making it difficult to see the larger landscape of resources and long-term growth opportunities just outside that narrow focus. Automating survival through assets and buffers changes the psychological state. When the brain is freed from immediate dread, it gains the capacity to calculate risks and spot exponential opportunities that were previously invisible. Wealth provides the mental bandwidth required to identify and execute long-term growth. Mainstream metrics often focus on spending power and luxury items. However, financial serenity is the quiet that arrives when the instinct for survival is no longer triggered by the balance in a bank account. Building this system yields the highest return possible, the control over how you spend your time. This time sovereignty is the distinction between a wealthy life and an ordinary one. Moving away from a single point of failure begins with the first dollar allocated toward a buffer or an asset. You can begin today by redirecting capital into a starter emergency fund or a fractional share of an index fund. Each step reduces the reliance on a single paycheck. This is how you ensure that when 3 a.m. arrives, you are taking control of your financial architecture rather than reacting to it. Stop working for money. Start building the system that forces money to work for you.